Welcome to my hood, Elderhood. I am your host, Coach Memory, where I ask that you listen with your ears and respect my hood. I am a young elder that turned my knots into ties. Therefore, now I am on a queen's clock, and like the game of chess, only queens can make certain moves. My time is now to have thought provoking conversations that will connect the elders to the millennials in order to strengthen the Black family. Now, my topic for today is elder before ancestor. And I want to start with a short story. I've watched TV go to the funerals with the younger versions of myself in caskets. We are now so desensitized about death that we forget there is a pecking order to life. So, like us, watching TV will desensitize you. And not only will watching TV desensitize you, constantly certain music that's not age appropriate, that it shouldn't even be on the airwaves, in my opinion. But we have to become more empathetic and sense the things that are going on in the world today and not be desensitized about death, and then thinking that once a person died, like these video games, once you die, you're dead. Young people that just don't understand, and it's not for them to understand. That's what parenting is for. That's what adults are supposed to be in your life for, the village and all the things. They don't understand that, like in the movie, in the games, once they die, they can come back. Once you see somebody in a movie, you'll see them in the next movie, or you'll see them in part 2 or part 3 or part 4. But that is not life. That's not realistic, and that's what we're missing. The reality of life and the reality of it all. So the mental family legacy is stronger and will stand the test of time if we stop leaving here prematurely. And sometimes the answer is also leaving with us. So remember, a wise elder is a goal. A wise elder is a goal. GOAL. Ancestor is the honor. And that's what we have to keep thinking. Being an elder is the goal. You don't live your life saying, I'm waiting, I'm looking forward to being an elder. No, it makes no sense. You go along with your life knowing that eventually one day you're going to be an elder because you've watched all of these elders. If you have a village of elders, if you have a family of elders, if you have a community of elders that you see eldering, then you look forward as you get older and wiser. You want to be a wise elder one day. So let's remember, elder is a goal. That's the goal. To be an ancestor is an honor. And in order for an ancestor, some people say angel, I use the word ancestor. You have to tap in with your ancestors. Everything that you need, by the grace of God, you have someone always looking over you and protecting you. You always have somebody looking over you and protecting you. So, and that is what we call ancestor. That's an honor. The family legacy is the prize in it all. It's a prize. I want you to hear, having a family legacy, that's a prize. And that's something that all generations can tap into and can have and hold on strong to. Now, Black pride is the key. And I say that because if you're not proud of who you are, you're not going to understand having a family legacy and knowing that you have to tap into the ancestors. And also knowing that to be an elder before you leave here is what is needed to keep the legacy strong, to keep the ancestors protecting and looking over you. You have to tap into that. So today I want to go about 8 factors that I want you to consider while you're listening or watching, driving along, going about your day. Things that I want you to really consider. 8 factors that I really want you to consider. Elder, number 1. Now, to be an elder, like person say all the time, all elders are not wise. All elders are not somebody that you want to look up to. And that is so true. But you also have to remember, if someone is an elder and God still have them on this earth, they are here for a reason. Everything is not going to always be positive or good. You have to consider why that elder is still here. If they're messy, if they don't seem to have any value to give, that's your opinion. Because a bad person has value. It can teach you how not to be like. Somebody can just be your cautionary tale in a bad way, and can be used for you not to aspire to be. Okay, if that person is gone, then there is no example of what not to be. So just as much as you need examples on what to be, you also need examples of what not to be. And that's what those elders are for. So even though they might not be wise, they are important to your growth. So keep that in mind. All elders, if they're on this earth, they have a purpose. And if they haven't been a good example in the past, then they're there for a reason. You just have to keep up or understand what their purpose is for you. Just like some elders, I have come to find out, they might not have been a good example for their children, but God give them another chance to be better to the next generation, or their children's children, or their children's children, because we are living longer than we have, and that's a good thing. We need all these examples. We need longevity to be in our race as well as everybody else's. So you have to take the good with the bad. You have to understand that elder might not be for you, but that elder is still here and put on this earth for someone. So don't judge. Just get what you need to get, so when it's time for you to give, you'll be ready and prepared and know what to do and what not to do. Just think of it like that. Now, number 2, an ancestor. Like I said earlier, some people say angel, some people say ancestor. It's like saying tomato. It's whatever your comfort zone is, whatever you have grown up to hear, or what you have chose as an adult to call an ancestor or an elder. An ancestor or an angel. Now, I first would like to say this to all my religious folks. I would never, ever say that God needs help. God doesn't need any help. God is God. God is all. But there are people that you can tap into. It's certain people, in my belief, the way that I feel, there are people that are assigned to you. You may call them an elder. I am stuck on the elder, but you may call them an angel, And you may call them the ancestor. You may call them a bird. You may call them the whatever you call. It's okay. There's more than one way. It's just like people have all names for God, but we all know there's only one. Just be true to what you call, and then you can tap in. And that's what Ancestor is for me. When you have an ancestor, I call on my ancestors. And in order for you to get the effect and the guidance and the protection of an ancestor, you have to know and in your heart, in your spirit, it's a spiritual walk. You have to know that that person is there, even though you can't see it, just like God. Your ancestor is there. And you have to call on my ancestor of strength, my ancestor of common sense, my ancestor of strength, and common sense. That might be the same ancestor. My ancestor of faith. Make my faith stronger. Stay with me. Guide me on the right path. My ancestor, when I go to this new job, this job interview, guide me in my words to speak what I need to speak in order to gain this job, the right job for me. So you have to be able to tap in and believe it to understand that they are there for you. They're everywhere. They're all around. If I'm scared of something, I will ask my ancestor of fear, go before me and let my fear be subdued, subside, and let me move on the way God needs me to move on this earth in order for me to fulfill my God-given assignment. I want to leave here empty vessel. And in order for me to leave here empty vessel and become an ancestor for whoever God chooses to assign me to when I go to my next walk in life. So that is all about ancestry. That's your ancestors. When people say my ancestors are with me, that's what that is for. Angel, ancestor, pick one, stick with one, and call on them. That's what they're for. They want you to tap in and know that they are there. Now, number 3, mental family legacy. And when I say mental family legacy, I am speaking of having your mind strong enough to know that it is important for you to have a family legacy. It is very important for you to have a village. It's important for you to have a community. It is important for your family to be strong so that you can have a strong mental family legacy. If you don't discuss and have things talked about, and they will show up whether you believe it or not, whether you're around people or not. For some strange reason, people seem to think that because they are not around their family, that they will not have those attributes, if you will, of the family. DNA is very strong. There are things that you will say, well, why did I do that? Why am I thinking like that? It might not be something that you ever understood and you might have ran away from, or your parents might have ran away from it, but you can't run away from DNA. You cannot run away from your mental makeup. It will become part of your legacy, whether you're around or whether you wanted to or not. You can't hide from it. The best thing to do is to acknowledge it, to understand where it comes from, and then once you acknowledge something, then you can let it go. And you can say, I'm going to turn this around. And then if you have smaller cousins, if you have siblings, you can also say, bring them around and say, look, Do you find yourself doing A, B, or C? Do you find yourself doing X, Y, or Z? Because if you do, I do the same thing. That's something that must be from generations before. Do you like it? And if they like it, okay. That's not the person that you're supposed to try to change you. If they don't like it, it's like, what can we do to change this narrative with our family? If we are finding it happening generation after generation after generation. But it takes you doing the work. It takes you acknowledging that this is going on. Because people like to hide stuff, push stuff under the rug. It goes nowhere. If it doesn't show up and you're able to control it without talking about it, it'll show up in your baby. Or it'll show up in your baby's baby. And then you'll say, I should have did something about it. The best thing to do to have a strong mental family legacy is to fix it, talk about it, discuss it, and then say, okay, how can we, let's change it so we don't have to worry about it anymore. We're gonna put that at bay. We're gonna get rid of that. And when I speak of mental, I'm speaking of jealousy. I'm speaking of envy. I'm speaking of the whole crabs in a barrel. I'm speaking of hatred towards your own kind or your own people. Hatred towards the men in your family, or hatred towards women in your family. It's mental is so deep that you must understand that you take it everywhere you go. And if you don't understand why it is, it'll just keep showing up. Like I said, that little hurt baby, that little hurt 8-year-old, or that little hurt 9-year-old, if it was hurt and it just keeps showing up in your adult life, it's because somebody else was hurt like that. Because believe it or not, hurt people really do hurt people. And when you're trying to fix yourself, people seem to come to you even more and hurt you even more. That's why you have to call on the ancestors. You have to be strong and be rooted in God and know that God is. Mental family legacy is so important, because what's the point of having monetary gain if your mental is all mixed up? It's a whole lot of rich nuts. It's a whole lot of families that are special in their head, but because they have money, they don't have people to tell them, you're really messed up and you need to take some of that money and invest in your mental psyche and take your whole family with you while you're going. So, mental family legacy is important. Number 4, dysfunction. And that's when I talk about the elders, all the elders are not meant, they're here for a reason, a season. And if they stay, God has them here for a reason. Dysfunction goes nowhere if you don't acknowledge it and say, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing this. You know how I talk all the time about cliques in family, and how women will not like other women in the family, or not like the men in the family, or raise the men up to a higher standard and really put a lot of pressure on the women. And me personally, I believe it has a lot to do with trauma that we have bonded and we have been a part of since slavery. And it will never, ever, ever be repaired until we are repaired, until we acknowledge and stop running from the dysfunction that came from years and generations, slavery, and coming on this soil. So, dysfunction, it comes in all shapes. It comes in all, it's dysfunction is like, it's everywhere. and it is around. We all have dysfunction, whether we want to believe it or not. Some of us fix it, some of us don't. Some of us, it becomes a part of you and you don't think it's dysfunction anymore. But it is. When you are trying to fix things that are not broken, that's dysfunction. So that's the end of that. Elders have dysfunction and elders transfer dysfunction. Number 5, balance. The good versus the bad. Now, just like dysfunction, just like with anything in life, you have good and you have bad. You have to take the good and get rid of the bad. You have to understand what is good and what is bad. That's the first part, because what one person think is good, another one might think is bad. So you have to have a universal good and bad. And you first have to start with your circle. You have to start with your village, your community, your whatever, however you want to call it, your family. Village, community, family. However you want to name it. Start there. Because it's a lot of work that have to be done. But the saying I've always heard was charity begins at home. So you first have to sit there and have to decide as a family what is good and what is bad. People love to say, oh, that's old school. Oh, that's this or that's that. No. You have to take the good and leave the bad. What they say, chew the meat and spit out the bones. You don't have to keep on going and saying, well, my family has always did that. That's where dysfunction lives. It breeds. You have to take the good and the bad. Decide what is good and what is bad for your family. Decide what is good and bad in your situation and try to make it a family legacy and get that mental to strengthen. All of these 8 factors that I am bringing up, all of them tie into one another. You can't have these 8 factors. They all need the other. So the good versus the bad, you got to decide and determine what's good and what's bad. And then have a conversation and have the people that's closest to you. And then it can branch out and you can go further with it. For example, when you go to a job and the dysfunction that you have in your family, you think it's good. You don't think it's dysfunction. You don't think it's bad. And you start showing up. You become maybe a supervisor or just becoming a fellow worker, a co-worker. And you'll bring those bad habits that you've learned in your family and start putting it around people, co-workers, and people that you meet in the street, and just tainting things. And you think that it's okay. You think it's cool, and it's not. So you have to, you start branching out, before children become at an age where they're out, you have to first teach them inside the family. That's why I go to my number 6, which you accentuate the positive in order to eliminate the negative. It's hard at first. It seems like it's hard, but anything worth having is worth working for. And the younger you do it, it might be hard for you, but what's hard for you today will make it easier for the next generation or your children, your grandchildren, because if you get it, if you learn, then you can go to the next. You could teach your children. And then your children is gonna know that this is dysfunction, this is good, this is bad. And they're gonna accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. And then that's when you can have that cohesive. Number 7, one family story. Close as you can get. It should only be one family story. I can't say this enough. Number 7, one family story. One. And what I mean by that, when I say one family story, my family, I'm going to use my family as an example. Now, I sat at the feet of elders. Not all the elders, the ones that I was able to sit at the feet with. But I was always open. I listened with my ears, and I heard different sides of the same story about my family. So what did I have to do? I had to not cherry pick what I wanted to believe, because it was some positives and it was some negatives. It was some good and bad, what we just talked about. So what I had to do was determine that I might not have liked the story that I heard, but it was the truth. And in order for me to know what was the truth, I had to keep hearing that reoccurring story. You know, that's why I say you get as close as you can get, and you write it down and you share it. You don't keep the stories to yourself. You might be the only one interested at the time, but it should only be one family story. I have went to funerals, and I have looked at obituaries and saw a whole bunch of lies. Now, when I was growing up, when somebody passed, it was always one person that filled out the obituaries. Unfortunately, as she got older, she didn't pull somebody else and say, okay, this is what the family does. This is the obituaries. This is how I do it. That is important. Some people don't think that obituaries are important because the person is gone, but it is. You should be able to find somebody, or you can get the obituaries, and it should tell one story. It shouldn't have this person being born in one place, and then somebody else being born in another place, and then that sibling, another one, the third one, being born back at that place. Or it makes it look like your family is crazy, and they was just flip-flopping, going all over the place. They was moving here and back and forth and back and forth. And that was normally not the case, especially for Black people. When we moved, and we had a tendency to move and stay around one another. So it is important to have one story and have a historian, if you will, or have an elder in the family tell you the story while they're still living, and write it down and share information. And that is why number 8, connecting the dots. It should not just be on one person to remember all the family history, to believe the family story. Because then what if somebody don't like the person, the only person that has the information? They're not going to believe what they say. So it should be a group, and it should be one story told. And once you connect the dots, you write it down, you share the information. You don't have to wait for somebody to pass in order to see them, and have to sit there and talk about what was, or what you believe is the truth, what you believe is the truth. And it's only one story. You've already took care of that. So when we're all here born to die, so when anybody leaves, there should be a person they can say, okay, can we come over and work on this obituary? And if that person is not available, or when that person passed, it's another person that's right in their place. Can we come over? That's an honor. That's an honor. So we have to get it together. You have to start somewhere. And if you start with those eight factors to consider, that's a good start. That's a great start of building a strong family legacy. And when you become an elder, you will be there before an ancestor. You'll have a strong family legacy, a strong mental family legacy, and you'll be proud of who you are. All right. It is now time for what? It is now time for my segment. Don't shoot the messenger, change the message. And I will leave you with this and the way that I have seen things. Listen with your ears and understand where I'm coming from. You have to release that whole demanding spirit. You young people, these relationship requirements that I see today, and the person that has the most demands with these relationship requirements can't even fulfill what they're demanding. Not to mention wanting what older versions of yourself have worked hard for and earned. You want them to just hand it over to you. So either you come in these relationships and you have he gotta be this tall, and she gotta have her hair like this, or it's a male and female. It's a whole demanding spirit. And it's crazy because if they look in the mirror, they'll see you don't even have that. How you asking somebody to do something or have something that you don't even have? Or if they say, okay, those your requirements? Well, these are my requirements. And then you'll get mad. Oh, he ain't a real man. He gonna ask me to do A, B, and C. She ain't a real woman because she gonna ask me to do X, Y, and Z. Demanding is demanding. And you can't put off a demand if you can't have a demand put on to you. That, and now this whole demanding the older versions, how can you look at a person that has been working 18, 20 years or have been on this earth 20 plus years longer than you and want what they have? How can you look at me and say, oh, I feel like I should be able to retire when you retire, but you just now starting in retirement? And that's just an example. But it's a demanding, it's like you want what an older person have worked hard for, and you think that you're supposed to get it. And if you don't get it, then what do? You stop. You get mad. And that's immaturity. That's dysfunction. So wake up and stop smelling that Starbucks coffee. And to let reality show up and show out. Get yours. And stop wanting other people's. Till next time, I leave you on the black hand side with positive energy, peace, and black pride. I want my knots and my ties to know that you are never alone. And if you don't have a connection to family, you do now. I am here to build community. You can book a one-on-one discovery call with me, Coach Memory, and we can discuss what the next steps look like for you. You can also find me on all social platforms at Respect My Elderhood. I have a Family Legacy Coach Facebook page, and I have a private page, a Queen's Club for the Queens, in order for us to get together and just be able to connect with one another and be of help to one another and just release so we can be better for the kings in our lives, for the princes in our lives, the princesses. So it's a Queen's Clock, and it's on Facebook, private. We know, love, and be thyself. Let's heal so we can build.